So, hello, welcome back, and this is Dr. Kalam again, and we're going to conclude week 7, module 7, with a discussion about learning outcome number 18.5, which simply describes how you would create a startup human resources system for a new or small business. Okay, so interesting that we conclude our course with something that actually puts all of that stuff that we've learned, all of the important concepts that we've learned, into practice in a small business. And anybody that has embarked upon that process and has been in the process of, has been involved in hiring, training, developing, staffing, monitoring performance, and all of those good things in a large organization, we're going to narrow it down so that you can actually see how it would work if you had to do it from scratch in a limited environment. So let's talk about managing HR systems, developing certain types of procedures, and some of the paperwork that might be involved in the recruiting and hiring of an employee. And you might, who might require some help. The first thing, or one of the things you might want to do as an introductory process, part of the process, is investigate help, to recruit employees, help wanted advertising listings, employee application processes, an interview checklist, and the verification of education and immigration status, and those types of things, and have a picture in your mind of those important concepts, requirements that you would want for your employees or in your organization. So much is required to run the human resources management part of any business. An entrepreneur will go into a business and generally use good practice, intuition, hire relatives, and hire people based on gut feelings, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what built this the backbone of the United States, for example, is built on small business entrepreneurs doing their own thing. As a business begins to grow, though, and the owner of a business moves from stage 1 of their organizational growth to a stage 2 of organizational growth, for example, then they may shed some of those responsibilities and give the HR hat to another person who has more time, resources, ability, capability, whatever they might be, to manage the function. So there are some basic components of a manual HR system. Very small employers probably start with a manual of human resources policies, procedures. This would include obtaining and organizing a set of standardized forms. Now, those are available all over the place. Basic forms should be considered, including an application, and sometimes they can be customized, and sometimes they're just basic. Reference checks, really important in establishing a small business. Now, generally, reference checks in the United States, in most companies, and including some small businesses that I've had dealings with, include calling 3 references and verifying certain information and asking certain pertinent questions that are within legal boundaries. Employee records, keeping employee records in safe and secure places, training, evaluations, performance evaluations, certain types of, vacation requests, having forms for that, looking at corrective action and corrective counseling, which can sometimes slip through the cracks in a small entrepreneur business. It's important to understand corrective action and how well it needs to be documented so that we don't run into problems down the road when we take action, which might seem like a knee-jerk reaction to a particular scenario, when it could come back and bite us. We need to have clear evidence of corrective action counselings in our files, employee files. And then exit interviews are a good idea as well to understand, what some of the things that employees liked, didn't like, were unhappy with, and some of the reasons why they wanted to leave. So one simple way to obtain the basic forms that should be included in any HR manual system or manual HR system is from websites. There's one in your text, and I'll send you others. There are books and CDs, a myriad of them, a lot of them free, some of them paid for, that people can obtain in small business. Other forms talk about, direct mail catalogs, offer a variety of HR materials. You can get safety manuals online. There are organizations that come in and prepare your manual for you. So let's talk about quickly a little bit about human resource information systems. And as an organization, small company moves from that stage 1 to stage 2 of their organization development, they may go into something more automated for their HR system. So the term HRIS, we talked about it before, it refers to a system of interrelated people, data, technology, procedures that helps to manage our employee workforce in a more effective way. And there are packages available again for sale to small businesses for just that reason. And there are, and other things that are available that we should be aware of are online self-processing systems that make it possible to make companies, employees part of that system, HRS system. For example, an organization can allow employees to self-enroll in some benefits programs. Lots of companies who offer health benefits, for example, will contract with a online provider who has a web-based system where employees go on and register themselves, and it takes away the burden of that very cumbersome process from somebody inside their organization. So as we wrap up chapter 18, in this chapter and in this module, we'll begin to understand how HR works in practice. That's the final presentation for this series of brief mini lectures. So thank you for your attention and see you in class. Bye-bye.